All right, we should be live. We are. So big series. I felt like even though the Yankees didn't sweep, and we were talking about like if they went 6-0, right, and that got squandered literally immediately. Like, not even joking. One game into this 6-game stretch, I'm over here hypothesizing. Oh, if they go 6-0, they dropped the first game, and then that second game, the Yankees got off to a slow start offensively. You kind of get a little bit worried. You're like, oh my goodness, are we really gonna get shut out by JP Sears? You're like, all right, Herman's, keeping us in the game. That's good. But end of the day, you needed to score runs. And the Yankees didn't just score runs. They absolutely beat the brakes off the Oakland Athletics. And then obviously Domingo Herman throws a perfect game. The 24th perfect game. The last perfect game was thrown by Felix Hernandez, who without injuries is a Hall of Famer. I don't think you say the same about Domingo Herman, which is just mind-boggling to me. Especially coming off the performances he had before this. I think that might be the most stunning perfect game. Not the most stunning perfect game. Maybe not that. But I think that's one of the more stunning performances I've seen from a Yankee. And obviously the most impressive pitching performance of my lifetime, because we haven't seen a perfect game. I don't think either of us were alive for the Wells one. My math is terrible, so I had to say maybe instead of definitively. But yeah, then this game, the Yankees get behind 3-1. You're like, oh my God, they're going to lose this series after throwing a perfect game. That'd be such a Yankees thing to do. And then they beat the ever-loving crap out of the Athletics for really that one inning where they break out in the sixth for what? I think it was how many runs they scored that inning?
It was 8 runs.
Yeah, it was crazy. They batted around. Donaldson hit the farthest ball of his life and the hardest ball as a Yankee at 112.3 miles an hour. I thought he had an encouraging series. Definitely not an encouraging season, but overall, Bader was excellent. Anthony Volpe was excellent. Clark Schmidt wasn't great, but the Yankees he was able to keep them in the game, and they were able to navigate around the not great Clark Schmidt start, just an okay one at best. And the bullpen is really good. Ian Hamilton came back through a scoreless innings. There's a lot to talk about here. So with that being said, Dylan, I'm going to hand the reins over to you here because I've been talking for enough. Dylan, what are your thoughts on today's game series? I mean, you can take this however order you want to take it. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking, man.
Yeah, this was a very wacky series to say the least. I don't think many of us had Josh Donaldson hitting 2 home runs this series, and most importantly, Domingo Herman, out of all pitchers, throwing a perfect game. That's a sentence that I did not think I was ever going to say in my lifetime. And, you can feel how you want about Herman, but regardless, one way or another, it's historic. It's a historic thing. We're not really going to ever see that often. It's only the 24th time it's ever happened in baseball history. Hasn't happened in 11 years. So it's very historic one way or the other. It's something, little thing, something that it was cool to see the Yankees complete, and a big accomplishment for them. It's something they really needed too. They needed something like that to kind of, maybe jumpstart their season up a little bit. They beat the brakes off of them with that, winning 11-0 in that perfect game. And then they follow up this one with going down 3-1 at first, but then it destroyed them in that 6th inning and ended up winning 10-4 today. Like you said, Harrison Bader was good this series. Today he had another 3-hit game. He was 3 for 4. Josh Donaldson hit a couple home runs. He's still striking out a bit, and most of the time he's gotten the hits this series. It was the only hits he got in the game, but he had the home run on Tuesday, and then he hit the double last night in the perfect game, and then today he hit it absolute nuke. I mean, I was shell-shocked when he hit that. I knew he had some power in him, but man, that was absolutely destroyed, and that pretty much set the tone, because once he hit that, the rest of the offense just kept clicking. So it's very encouraging stuff to see. Gleyber Torres today, he even had 2 hits and 2 RBIs, and I feel like that was very under the radar given everything that's been happening these past couple days. IKF hit a home run. He had 2 hits and 3 RBIs today. And something I really want to touch on, Anthony Volpe. He had a heck of a series. He was amazing this series. He's brought his average up to 212. He had another multi-hit game today. He had 2 hits. He had 3 hits the other night. I think he's really starting to figure things out a little bit. I think things are finally starting to come together for him a bit. That chicken parm dinner with Austin Wells is really paying off this time. We're really starting to see some results. Yes, he didn't hit any home runs this series, but I'm just happy to see better at bats, better, more contact. Still strikeouts will be a problem here and there, but today he actually didn't even strike out, so that's a good step in the right direction. He just looks more comfortable at the plate, working some walks, waiting for your pitch, and just making solid contact. He's been ripping the ball this week, and I'm really encouraged to see what I'm seeing from out of Anthony Volpe. The only people, even Giancarlo Stanton had a solid series. He wasn't amazing. He's still hitting under 200, but he did get 2 RBIs today. He had that hit earlier in the game. So, I shout out Giancarlo Stanton for stepping up a bit. We didn't really see much of Jake Bowers or Billy McKinney this series because the A's threw out 2 lefties. So, there wasn't much to say about them on that front. But regardless, it's encouraging to see the other guys who hadn't been doing a whole lot actually doing something for once, and just seeing this offense put up some crooked numbers. We had 2 days in a row now of the Yankees offense putting up 6 or more runs in an inning. I can't recall the last time they did that at all really this season. And before that, even with this roster that we have right now, I couldn't have imagined that I was going to see one day them score 6 runs in an inning and then the next day follow that up with an 8-run inning. I didn't think I was going to see that with this lineup. And I'm really, I don't care that it's the Oakland A's. I'm happy to just see them do this. I'm happy to see them perform better offensively. The pitching, like you said, has been shoving as usual. Domingo Germán throwing a perfect game. The bullpen been phenomenal, of course. Things have just been good right now. Obviously it's the A's, so you can't look at this too deeply and go, oh, they won another series. It is the A's, so you just have to sit there and be like, yeah, they better have won this series against the A's. Kind of sucks they didn't sweep them. It is the Oakland A's, like I said. They've won 21 games all season. You kind of wish they would have swept them, but you take a series win and you hope to just head to St. Louis with this same kind of energy, and hopefully you rattle off another series win at the very least. Yes, I know we said it 4-2 would be kind of disappointing, but at the end of the day, it would be better than going 3-3 on this trip. So, with that being said, I'm kind of just going to hand it off to you and see what other thoughts you have about this series, and then maybe pass it on to the comments.
Yeah, no, I think you put it beautifully, right? Obviously 4-2, we were like, it's all right, but it's not like spectacular. But thankfully for the Yankees, the rest of the American League doesn't seem too keen on stealing that wild card spot from the Yankees. It feels like every time the Yankees lose, the teams that are behind them also lose, and every time they win, the teams behind them win. So it's like, okay, if the Yankees just keep this, they'll make the postseason. And if they make the postseason with Aaron Judge really not being a factor for the majority of the years thus far because of the injuries, and Rodon not even throwing a pitch for the Yankees yet, Cortez missing a lot of time and being ineffective when he was here, Severino having his struggles and being injured. The offense has been awful all year, really, it feels like, besides that one stretch where they had everyone healthy in May. If you said all of that to me and then said, oh, yeah, and the Yankees are 9 games above 500 and in the playoff spot, I wouldn't believe you. So I think you always have to recontextualize what's going on, based on based on what you get in the season. I think you always have to readjust and kind of recalibrate. So, I think you hit on a lot of really good points on some of the key players in this series. And as you mentioned, I think it's a good time for us to delve into this comment section. So I'm very excited. Aiden's been patiently waiting. Aiden's been here since before we even started the live. So Aiden, thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate you. You are in every live stream, and we thank you a lot. He says, great, perfect game last night. Germán was good. I'm going to say that was the best pitching performance of my life that any Yankees had. I thought Kluber's was going to be the best one, or Cole's shutout against Houston was going to be the best one. That's number one. A perfect game is going to be number one. I'm sorry. It automatically wins. Like, I'm sorry, it does. I still can't believe you threw a perfect game. I think
I'm
it's
blown away. I'm blown away.
And the funniest thing is that they're talking about it in the interview with him, and then IKF hits an absolute bomb to center field that Esteury Ruiz drops his glove into the stands.
He loses his glove.
Just this is just not, this series didn't feel real. For the entire third game, I felt like we were gonna lose. I'm like, oh shit, we're not gonna score runs. Are we serious? Clark Schmidt's nibbling. He's not doing very well. God damn it. And lo and behold, the Yankees won a baseball game. So yeah, what an unbelievable
They destroyed them,
yeah.
too. They didn't just win. They destroyed them.
And the bullpen saved. So you don't have an off day tomorrow. Germán throwing a perfect game, and then just having to use Nick Ramirez, Ian Hamilton, who wasn't going to be thrown in high leverage in his first outing. This is the spot to use him. And Albert Abreu getting to use all 3 of those guys and not having to touch Clay Holmes or Ron Marinaccio. Well, you did use Marinaccio. Excuse me. I forgot to use him as well. Or Wandy Peralta or Michael King. Not having to touch any of those guys, is really important for us to make sure. I had to make sure I came back with the pause there because I was like, I said the first time, I have to make sure I say pause. I have to because I said the first, But yeah, no. If you have anything you wanted to add on, I just think the big thing is the bullpen saved. The bullpen saved.
Yeah,
Let's go.
the bullpen saved, and Herman threw an excellent performance. Like you said, it's the best performance that, I've ever seen in my lifetime. I wasn't even alive for David Wells or David Cohn's perfect game. So, I can't say I saw that. So I'm not going to sit here and say that's the best performance I've seen in my life. Herman was excellent last night. The curveball was working really well, getting ground outs, getting pop outs, and 9 strikeouts as well, I believe. So he was working, man. That was a really amazing performance. He did it in 99 pitches as well. He didn't even eclipse the 100 pitch mark. So, you know, great performance from him. Yankees needed that kind of performance. And, they followed it up with a great win today. And I'm just really happy they won the series. I can't believe we made this Oakland team look half decent the first game of the series, losing that game 2-1. It happens. I understand. But in the end of the day, I'm just happy that they ended up winning the series, because if they would have lost the series, that would have been very, very disappointing. I would have not been happy whatsoever. So just happy to see what they did today. Like you said too, happy the bullpen's continuing to do its thing. You didn't have to go to Peralta, King, or Holmes today. You're able to just use your more low leverage guys, with the exception of like Marinaccio, and you got Ian Hamilton stretched back out. So, I'm not going to consider that as like using a high leverage guy. They were going to throw him in anyway to just get him stretched out. And he pitched the inning, gave 1 hit, but that was it, scoreless inning. So nice to see Ian Hamilton hasn't really lost much of a step since he, was hurt and stuff. And Marinaccio, 2/3 of an inning, and he struck out somebody. So really good performance from him. The bullpen did its thing again. And, obviously it was Oakland days. So, you're not going to expect too much from their side offensively, but you're just happy to see the Yankees do what they're supposed to do and beat the bad teams. Yes, they should have swept this team, but at least they won the series. And honestly, that's what you take right now. And like I said in the beginning of the stream, you take the same energy to St. Louis, and you just try to repeat what you just did, win the series, put some crooked numbers offensively because St. Louis does not have good pitching, and, try to win the series and hopefully get a sweep and, enter the early weeks of July, the first week of July, possibly 10, 11, 12 games above 500 and head into the All-Star break in a good place. That's kind of just where we're at right now. Just stay afloat to the All-Star break.
Yeah, the Yankees are just. I mean, maybe I'm like going a little too far here, but this feels like this is the hey, this team is either going to be a team we need to buy on or a team that we're not buying at the deadline for. They have to. These are the weeks to prove it. People forget that 2021 team, it wasn't when they got Rizzo that they took off. They took off and they had the 13-game win streak after the deadline, of course, but they played some really good baseball in July, and that's why the Yankees decided to buy. If the Yankees play good baseball in the month of July, that'll give Brian Cashman a reason to buy. If the Yankees take advantage of this stretch, the Yankees will be well in a playoff spot. And, as more games are played, you get to kind of separate the pack a little bit. Some teams are going to slump. Some teams are going to play better. Some teams are going to play worse. You just hope that you're not the team that plays worse. You hope you're the team that sticks around, because there's 3 wildcard spots and there are 5 teams fighting for it. The Angels, the Astros, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Orioles. The Orioles have built a nice cushion. The Yankees are likely just fighting with those 4 teams for those 2 spots for right now. If the Yankees are able to go on a run, that can change. But for now, you have to keep your head above water. That's all you can really do right now without Aaron Judge. You're likely not going to go on a run without Aaron Judge, but he's been playing catch, which is encouraging. You just need to have a good enough month of July and then carry that into the deadline, get some reinforcements back, and hopefully take off from there. But with that being said, moving on to the next couple of questions here, which are talking about, the athletic situation with their ownership, that their tickets must be cheap, or say goodbye to call. I think they should just sold. I think the owner should have sold the team. But I don't really think that's I don't think that. I think that we're past that point. I think they're moving to Las Vegas. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's too late now.
yeah.
They've already solidified the move. They've already, approved the idea to build the stadium in Vegas. The only thing that's really in question, I wonder if they're going to still be considered the Athletics when they move to Vegas. I wonder if they're just going to be the Las Vegas A's or if they're going to be under a different name. We don't know about that stuff yet. I'm not going to speculate though. Right now, they're obviously the Athletics, so we're just going to assume that. But with that being said, I mean, it's too late. There, the reverse boycott thing was a cool idea for them to do, but the best that they could possibly get out of it is that the owner sells a team. It's unfortunately not going to really save the team from moving to Vegas and to stay in Oakland. It's not going to really work, unfortunately, just because it's too late. It just so happened to be the day they did the boycott is when they approved the bill to move to Vegas. So it is what it is. I mean, for Oakland fans, I feel sorry for you guys because you don't have a team anymore really in a couple years to root for locally, but I don't know. It just sometimes business works that way, I guess. I mean, I don't know entirely everything that went down about it, but there is history behind the Coliseum, so I understand it. It's just it is what it is at this point, you know.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Look, and like the way I view it is that, I think the owner didn't put his team in the best position to win. I think that this team being this bad, referring to the A's, of course, is on purpose. It is to disparage fans and to, lower attendance. If you guys have ever watched the movie Major League, like the concept of that movie is that you take the Cleveland franchise, they had them, they gutted the roster, made them terrible so that they would have a reason to sell. And it didn't work because that team ended up actually winning the division or the pennant, whatever it may be. That's how that story went. But this A's team is not winning the pennant. So they're going to move. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's a tough situation.
Unless they pull some real life Moneyball stuff, they're not.
Yeah, it'll take them playing like 130 win baseball for them to even be in a conversation. That's not going to happen. And I feel bad. I feel genuinely terrible, but it's unfortunately, when ownership's allowed to, when really the power owners have in the league, that's a whole different conversation. But this is not the NBA. This is not a player-driven league. This is an owner-driven league, and they have all the power. We can talk about the power imbalance, but that's a much more complex issue than the New York Yankees. And I think that's something that requires someone smarter than myself to properly assess. They said Reaper says they better win the series. They did. And if you're referring to the Cardinal series, yeah, they should win that series. And hours of Bly for Wells and Cones. That's awesome. Yeah, my dad was around for both as well for those Yankees teams. Those are really the first Yankee teams he got familiar with when he moved over here. So, there is a special place in anyone's heart, I feel like, as Yankees fans for those teams, but especially in mine because that's like my dad's team. So, yeah. Trevor Alley says, "What's up? Chicken parm can make a motherfucker it." Dude, I could go for some chicken parm. I might get some chicken parm when I go back to Long Island. I'm not gonna do it in Binghamton. Not that, no disrespect to Binghamton, but I feel like Long Island chicken parm is just different. You know what I mean? It's like getting a bacon, egg, and cheese not in New York City. If people are familiar with how delis are in New York City, you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, that chicken parm.
Whatever was in that chicken parm that Austin Wells gave Anthony Volpe, man, I want to know what's in that because it made the man hit. It made the man figure it out.
Yeah, dude, I could have used that in high school. I might have been able to throw strikes but legitimately though, it is awesome that that's how it happened. That's such a cool story. And if Volpe becomes a great player, that's going to be the moment in time we reference for like the rest of our lives. We're going to be talking about a chicken parm sandwich in Austin Wells.
Oh yeah. And
that's hilarious.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome stuff,
It's hilarious
because we love Austin Wells. So
yeah, it's my dog.
Funnier.
Austin Wells needs to be here. Like I'm not letting that go. Really, I'm gonna go order chicken parm. I recommend that if you have if you guys are thinking about ordering dinner tonight. I cooked, so I'm not doing that. Yeah.
See if Austin Wells could cook it for you.
Honestly, dude, apparently they had a great meal. From the details we understand from the situation, and these are very important details, of course, knowing what they're eating, because I want to get some ideas here. But
we need to know what Volpe's eating right now.
Dude, we need to that. It's integral to the podcast. This podcast does not function if we don't know what he's eating. So, we'd love that information to be sent our way.
If we could get like a beat reporter, like
honestly, just like a menu.
If one of us could get like credentials and just strictly be chosen to follow Anthony Volpe around wherever he eats.
Right. I feel like honestly, we need I think we need a taste test to see what they ate, just like understand to truly be able to tell the story. You know what I'm saying? So if anyone wants to set that up, that'd be great. But no, seriously, I mean, I think it's legitimately such a cool story that's how it happened. And I'm really encouraged by what I'm seeing from Volpe. I was not encouraged at first because I was like, all right, but he's still making bad swing decisions. And that matters to me. I think swing decisions are I equate swing decisions to I honestly, I think it's arguably the most important thing for a hitter. I think your ability to identify when you should and should not swing is so important. I've sat here and screamed about 3-0 swings. My opinions on swings are well documented. I think we've been through that enough. So I'm not going to bore people with that, but I think you and I can agree that's super important. Seeing him make better swing decisions, seeing him actually make really good quality of contact is really encouraging as well. So there's that.
And he's making solid contact lately. So
Yeah.
we're seeing results. We're seeing them. We were saying shortly after he had that Austin Wells chicken parm dinner, like, all right, when the results gonna come? He changed his stance, but it seemed like it was coming a little slow for true results to show up. And right now, I think we just started seeing it a little bit. He looks a
Yeah.
lot more confident out there. On the base paths, he looks very confident as he always has been, but he looks even more confident now. He just looks more comfortable at the plate. I think the game is starting to, I think he's getting accustomed to it. I think he's getting accustomed to it really well. And who knows, man? Maybe he can really break out and turn what was a pretty rough start to the season into a pretty solid season for a rookie. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. I just want to see him keep it up.
And, I think end of the day, one of the most important things that, you can talk about when it comes to making adjustments and making changes like that is really, confidence, right? It's a confidence-based game. I think that the Yankees have done a really good job of keeping their heads above water, despite the frustrations of kind of being meh since Judge has been hurt. But you can't really expect much from this team right now. It's unfortunate, but Volpe's been able to actually put it together. And if Volpe finishes the season with like a 100 WRC plus, it's a successful season. That season, that would be a successful season. Absolutely.
100%.
That would be the Yankees' best shortstop since Didi.
The first step was getting that average up to over 200. That was the first step because he had been under 200 virtually all season. Now he's up to 212. The numbers are going up, the easier numbers. Now, get like the main numbers like the WRC plus and stuff like that. If that stuff can go up as well, and the power numbers and just overall being a productive player, then it's a good rookie season. It's obviously been a topsy-turvy one for Anthony Volpe so far, but he can really turn it around. He really can. So
I agree. I agree. I think that you're just looking for
Also,
progress.
we have news, but Aaron Judge is officially an All-Star. I don't think that's
Amazing.
shock anybody, but he is officially an All-Star. He's a starter.
And I'm glad for that. And I know this sounds weird, but like because he won't play in the All-Star game, it means he gets an All-Star appearance, and then whoever was going to get his spot still gets his spot. So
I think Luis Robert will be replacing him.
Yeah,
personally,
I'm happy with that.
I think either him or Adolis Garcia would be the proper replacement.
I think it's got to be
Robert first.
That's tough. I love Garcia.
I'd probably pick Robert first because he's been on an absolute tear this past week and so. I think that momentum will lead him into the starting spot for Judge. But regardless, happy for Judge. Love seeing him another All-Star appearance. Fortunately, he's the only Yankee that got a starting spot as far as I'm concerned. So
I think
but I don't think that should shock anybody. Yeah, I think we'll see some
Garrett
pitchers.
Cole's going to make the All-Star.
We're going to see Garrett. I think we'll see Garrett Cole.
It'll take a lot.
I don't know if there'll be any relievers on our side.
I think Holmes will make it.
Maybe Holmes can. Holmes can. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he will just because of the start. But I'm not the one who votes on. I don't know. I'm not the one.
He's
who
also
votes
got
on
the
that
Yankee
stuff,
tax.
He's a Yankee. Yeah, he's a Yankee, so he'll get the advantage there. If he gets in, cool, awesome. But we all pretty much know like Judge and Cole are pretty much locks. So
I didn't know this.
And obviously Judge is in, so that's obviously the lock right there. So
Clay Holmes is 9th in F4 amongst like AL relievers, which I think is fascinating because I think you and I maybe like kind of thought like the numbers were good on the season, but not like mind-boggling good. And they're mind-boggling good, which is not surprising to me, but it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he is that. But no shit.
I want to point this out too. The Texas Rangers have 4 All-Star starters.
Their offense is that good.
Jonah Heim. The 4 people are Jonah Heim, he's a starting catcher. Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Josh Young in the infield.
He's a rookie too. Josh Young.
The only non-Ranger in the infield for the All-Star game is Yandy Diaz at first base.
I'm glad Yandy won it. I thought I was worried Vlad was going to win it. I thought Vlad was going to win that job. It should have been Yandy.
The AL starters are those guys I just named, and then the outfield it's Trout, Arozarena, Judge, and then DH. I think we all know Shohei Ohtani.
I think Robert should have beaten Trout.
I personally think Robert or Adolis could have beat Trout. I think Trout should be in. I don't know if he should be starting. It might just be the Mike Trout name.
I'm fine with Mike Trout getting in because he's Mike Trout.
Yeah, and I'm perfectly okay with him starting just because it's Mike Trout.
Yeah, I have no quarrels with that.
I have no issue with that. It's just there are obviously players that we could argue maybe deserved it better over it, but
like realistically,
regardless, I don't think any of these names that I just named off here are like bad picks. I think these.
There's a lot of talent.
And I think these are all deserving players to be in the All-Star game. I think they all deserve it.
Yeah.
They didn't announce pitchers yet, but they announced the
I think
hitting
that
at
gets
least.
voted
So
by coaches and managers. I don't think
and
the
the
fans do.
National League, just because we're naming off the All-Star team, the National League starters were announced. I don't know if there's any shocks here, but I'm just going to go down the list. So the DH was JD Martinez. I don't think that shocks anybody. Catcher was Sean Murphy. First baseman Freddie Freeman. Second base Luis Ariz. Third base Nolan Arenado. Orlando Arcia got the start at shortstop, which I'm very happy to see he did. I know some people wanted Francisco Lindor, but the guy is hitting below 220. I can't have him be a starter in my All-Star team. I just can't. Orlando Arcia has been better than him this year, in my opinion. And then the outfield, I don't think this will shock anybody. Betts, Corbin Carroll, Ronald Acuna Jr. So
Yeah, the NL outfield is unbelievable. Like that
yeah,
NL
that's
outfield is
unbelievable.
remarkable. Like those are that's man. You have Corbin Carroll is like he's an MVP candidate, and
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
he might fight for.
I think it's Ronald Acuna's
Acuna's the leader right
award
now.
to lose, but Corbin Carroll is definitely top 5. Definitely top 5.
And yeah, I think that's I mean that NL is.
I don't think there's really any shocks in that either. I mean, obviously, I don't think many entering the season expected Orlando Arcia to be an All-Star starter, but the shortstop spot in the National League has been pretty bad, just to be honest. If we're at the stage where Orlando Arcia and Francisco Lindor are like the clear best 2 shortstops, and then the rest are just like not there.
It wasn't close.
Then,
I mean, Geraldo Perdomo should have probably gotten the nod. Like I don't know how he was in a finalist.
And that's
better
fair.
than them.
And that's fair. But overall, when you look at it,
like Trey Turner was not a factor.
Trey Turner was not good. Dansby Swanson hasn't been good. So
he's been all right. He's just a defense first guy.
He's been all right, but he wasn't going to get the All-Star spot.
The issue is that in the All-Star game,
that wasn't going to happen for Dansby.
The issue with All-Star voting is that because I think it's very much offense oriented. And I don't know if I agree with this, but I think you have to just be a really good hitter. I don't know if defense matters nearly as much, even though I think it should. I don't think fans care very much, and I think that is just how it works for some people. More people are willing to ignore defense than offense, and not a lot of people are big fans of the WAR metric, so there's that as well. There's a lot of reasons. We
got to remember they let the fans vote this pretty much, and the fans are not all fans are going to look into the deeper analytics or look into the defensive stats. They're just going to look at the average home runs, RBIs, and the OPS, and then just vote based off that stuff.
And also, it's interesting because I was actually I was watching this video kind of talking about WAR as a metric and the conversation around it was really interesting. I thought dude was talking about kind of how if you're looking at WAR as a metric, defense has not changed in value over the years, despite balls in play happening less frequently. So defense is kind of less important than WAR suggests. Not by enough for me to say for us to view players dramatically differently, but there is something to the concept that offense matters more than it's given credit for. Defense matters less than WAR gives it credit for. So I've always found that an interesting thing. I don't know why I'm going on a tangent about that, but but moving on a little bit here. This is the first home run that Wash Donaldson hit that the Yankees didn't lose. Yeah, it's kind of incredible. That's the first hit he's had. Yesterday was the first time he had a hit in a Yankees win since opening day, I think.
Yeah, it was. And then
which is unbelievable.
Today was first time this season he homered in a game we won.
Yeah, that was funny. That's unbelievable. I don't even mean unbelievable and because I know he's been bad this year. And I'm not saying he's been good. But I mean unbelievable more so in the sense of in the Domingo Germán perfect game way. I'm not saying it's unbelievable that Domingo Germán threw a perfect game because Domingo Germán didn't throw a perfect game, but because the actual shock factor from hearing that. Imagine explaining that to how that's mind-boggling to me. I have no idea how that stat is even true, but it is.
It is though. So
the home run one is
gotta live with it.
The hit one was just what? That was so weird.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock.
But, hey, good for Donaldson, huh?
Yeah.
Heimer Candelario still my third baseman. With that being said, Trevor says I still hate Germán, but I can give him credit where credit's due. He's still a mediocre pitcher, did horrible things on 19, but last night he still threw a perfect game. That's history. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's is Domingo Germán an ace or anything like that? No, there's a reason why it was unbelievable. It wasn't unbelievable because it was a good pitcher. It was unbelievable because it was a guy with an ERA of 5 who would give 17 runs in his previous 2 starts coming into the game and perfect gaming someone. I don't care that it's the Oakland Athletics. It's a perfect game. No one this season threw a perfect game against the Athletics. So miss me with that shit. You know what I mean?
And hey, you know what? Since we're on this topic, I just got an alert. Brian Bayo is through 7 no-hit innings against the Marlins. So
Holy shit, no way.
I'm dead serious.
That would be
7 no-hit innings.
it would have been funnier if it was a perfect game. It would have been so funny if someone threw
Oh,
a
yeah, it
perfect
would've
game
been.
right at. It would have
But
been
hey, man,
hilarious.
it'd be really funny if a perfect game happens and a no-hitter falls the day after.
No, that
And
would
a
still be.
Yankee and a Red Sox. That would be even more ironic.
And what was
So,
interesting was that like no one's no hit anyone this year before Herman. Herman's the first person this season to throw a no hitter. Not even like a team no hitter. I'm pretty sure he's the only like the Yankees are the only team with a no hitter this year, and he's the only person with a no hitter this year. Brian Bale's really good, so I think Brian Bale is a better starter than Domingo.
you know what's funny about this? I just opened the box score of that game. The Red Sox have 1 hit. It's 0-0. Jesus Luzardo is pitching. That game is an absolute pitcher's duel.
How do you like, man? Man, getting swept by that Red Sox team sucks. That team is not good. Like it's bad that they got swept by. It's really bad the Yankees got swept by the Red Sox. Like that's bad. That's indefensible. The Los Angeles Angels lost 9-7. Okay, that helps the Yankees in the wild card race because now the Angels dropped to 2 back in the loss column of the Yankees. That's awesome for them. That really helps them a lot. So shout out the Chicago White Sox. Thank you guys for that, I guess. Fuck you for taking it serious against us, but sure. But moving on a little bit here. Or no, we were talking about the Herman perfect game. Really, I just think the big takeaway is he threw a perfect game, and holy shit, he threw a perfect game. Like that's just crazy. Like I think that's
it's still a crazy sentence to say. Domingo Herman
it just
and
doesn't
perfect
make
game in the same sentence. It's just like what?
That I never imagined that. Like it's like sure, yeah, that happened.
Never.
Like it feels like
man. If you said to somebody before the season, Domingo Herman is going to throw a perfect game this year, they probably think you were just joking.
And I think the funniest part about that, and I know this isn't like huge deal situation, but like I don't know, I just like there were a lot of people who woke up to that. Like they didn't watch the game or they went to sleep at some point during the game. Imagine waking up. There are people who slept through that game and like woke up to a Domingo Herman perfect game. Like I want to know what that feels like. Like what does it feel like to like wake up and you're like Domingo, like you have to think you're dreaming, right? Like that's crazy to me. But anyways, moving on a little bit here from the perfect game stuff because again, just mind-boggling. We'll probably talk about it at some point again, but Jesus Christ, just like what the fuck? That's still wild to me. And that's Baseball, who's my boy. That's my dog. I watch his videos all the time. I actually just finished watching his Cano video. Great dude. He says, "Where's Austin Wells?" The Yankees are torturing me and they don't want him here. That's my theory. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know, man. We've had the conversation about Wells many times, man. Like, I don't even know what they're doing with him at this point.
No, I don't.
I don't even know what their plans are for him at this point.
It's bad.
It's interesting. I mean, hey, at least he fixed Volpe, it seems. So
yeah, he should be here.
Maybe maybe he's the chicken parm connoisseur for Anthony Volpe.
Whatever it is, needed in New York. Also, the Red Sox have gotten 2 hits since you said they only had 1 hit. They have back-to-back singles.
Looks like maybe I jinxed it.
maybe fix the Red Sox.
Let's hope that I did not fix the Red Sox, and 2 maybe the no hitter doesn't happen now because
I'm Dominican. I want Brian Bayo to get it. Like
Brian Bayo's gotten a whole lot better as a pitcher, so I would like to see that for him.
A year where only Dominicans threw a no hitter would be like my World Series. That'd be insane. Like that would be like wow. Like because Herman's actually the first Dominican-born player to throw a no hitter, so that's crazy. First off, that's still
crazy to think.
That's insane to me because there are a lot of really good Dominican starters, and he is the first one. Like that's like shit, man. All right, cool. But yeah, no. I wonder if he'll get it. We'll have to wait and see on that front. We'll probably know by the time this stream ends if he did it or not. Whether it's because he gave a hit or
at this point, man, this stream is now to track Brian Bayo's no hitter going on.
I love Brian Bayo, so I want to see
track his no hitter in progress. I have the game I have the game being tracked on my phone, so you'll witness live reactions.
I'm keeping my tabs on the Blue Jays game just because they're in the wild card race, and so I'm always gonna keep tabs on those games. But still, like no hitter watch, guys. If you want to like watch that, I don't know. With that being said, we've got.
If you watched the Yankees last night, you saw a no hitter already.
Yeah, but if you want to watch another one, hey, you never know. You never know. But with that being said, we've got a question from Trevor saying the toxic urge to vote for Judge Lee also getting knowing he won't be able to play. I did the same thing. The exact same.
Well, he already got voted in anyway, so he's in.
Yeah. No,
he's a starter.
This was beforehand. This was like while it was being
Yeah.
announced. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I figured, but yeah, it's official. He's in. So obviously, there's a chance he won't be able to play. So might have to see like Luis Robert or Adolis Garcia take his spot, but I'm okay
yeah.
with it. So it happens. I wish Judge would play, but I can't control his injury. So
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. This entire I still like I don't know the whole Judge thing is weird because like the All Star number one, I just want to have the All Star game honor, so there's that. But number two, kind of just I don't know. I want to be able to see Aaron Judge an All Star. That's
I think at this point too, though, this injury like takes him out of that MVP
yeah, no,
conversation,
definitely.
especially with what Shohei Ohtani is doing right now.
Ohtani took everyone out of the. He's that good. He's
like,
unbelievable.
Like
He had
I
another
looked
home
at
run
his
today.
number. I know, and like I looked at his numbers yesterday, so that was even before today. He homered today. I looked at his numbers yesterday. I'm like, my God, this guy's not human.
No,
Like,
he's not. This is
how in the world can one guy do what he's doing?
This is literally the greatest. This is by far like this is like one of the greatest. No, not even. This is the best, most talented athlete I'll ever see in my life. Like I'm confident saying that. I don't think I'll ever see anyone more talented.
The guy is possibly going to hit like 50, even possibly even close to 60 home runs while striking out almost 200 batters or something like that.
Yeah,
like that's insane. That is insane. Nobody else is going to do that. Guy's hitting 309 with over 1,000 OPS casually, but while also being a probably a top 10 pitcher in the American League. So like it's insane. The guy has 127 strikeouts in 95 innings. Like he's probably gonna get over 200, and he's gonna probably hit over 40 home runs. He's probably gonna get over 100 RBIs. He might hit over 300 this time for once. I mean, it's a freak athlete. It's insane.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And I just can't believe he exists. It's crazy to me.
And he has 11 stolen bases too.
Yeah,
guy might casually get 20 steals as well with all this stuff. It's like, what can't he do?
It's so fun to see people say, "Oh, what's the NBA comparison?" The NBA comparison is if like your starting point guard was also able to play football. Like pitching and hitting are two different sports.
Like that Wilt Chamberlain meme everyone pulls up with just a ridiculous stat line with like 50s and 30s all over. That's Shohei Ohtani.
It's ridiculous. Like I think the only way you can't compare him to a basketball player because basketball players do always play offense and defense. It would be like comparing him. It would be like if your star cornerback was also your star wide receiver. I'm not gonna say star quarterback because quarterbacks are so valuable in the NFL. So like it's not really a fair comparison because like Shohei Ohtani isn't like it's like Shohei Ohtani is like a starting shortstop who's like a Gold Glover, because that would be the equivalent. If he was a Gold Glove shortstop and the best pitcher in baseball, or not even the best pitcher in baseball, just what he is right now, which is a very good starting pitcher, like elite ace type, that would be like quarterback, star cornerback type thing. But because he's not that, it's unbelievable. That being said, I say that being said all the time. I don't know what it is. I just say that being said as like a trend.
Hey, I also always say like we'll wait and see on that front. I say that all the time.
love saying that. I'll wait and see on that front is so good.
Sometimes we just talk and it just comes off the tongue naturally.
We need to normalize saying that more. On that front is such a good phrase. I love it so much. Like I use that all the time on that front, and it's a
vocabulary lesson here.
Exactly,
now.
Guys. I always say, there's an interview that fortunately, because I got shelled in this game, that's publicly out there. It's going to take forever. You'd have to dig through a lot to find it. After I got shelled in a high school game,
I'll make sure I find it.
Audio for it.
I'll make sure I find it.
Yeah. So basically, I got shelled, and they're like, "So how'd you feel about your start?" I'm like, not very good. So hoping to get better. Yeah. So try to make some better pitches. They're like, "Did you put your team in a position to win?" I was so mad. I was like, dude,
it's like when Garrett Cole has his post game interviews, and he just starts laughing.
But like, they actually asked, like, how do I put this? I got spotted for like I had 4 earned runs. I left the game when it was like 3-1, and another run or 2, I think, came to score. That was mine. And they're like, "Oh, did you put your team in a position to win?" They were down 4-0 at the end of the inning. No. They were like, "How'd you feel about your command?" I don't know. I walked fucking 4 guys.
It cracks me up. They go up to pitchers after they just got shelled, and they're just like, "So, tell me how you felt today." Well, I felt terrible.
They're like, "Oh, tell me, how was your command today?" I don't know. Great. I walked 4 dudes and hit 2. What do you mean?
Oh yeah. How was your command today? I don't know. You ask the other team. See what they tell
Yeah,
you.
they were they were man. And I love those guys though. They're I work with them on the broadcast team. I feel like it was I have a theory that they did that intentionally. And if they did, it would have been that's
Hey, you know what though?
hilarious.
Sometimes you gotta ask those kind of questions to get the responses.
I will
Sometimes the
say if that
response
was
is how you.
intentional,
Sometimes that type of response is what they want. So
yeah.
you
Again, if it
gotta
was intentional, I
respect them
think
for
it's
doing it.
hilarious. But it's like, come on, man. She got shelled. I didn't think it was funny at the time. That moment was not funny at the time because I got shelled and I was very salty. I'm a very sore loser. So Trevor talks about WBC, so he knows I'm a sore loser. Like I am a sore loser. I hate losing. Hate losing. I don't know how we got to this point. But anyways, I have no idea how we got from like transition words to this. But sure.
It just happens that way sometimes. Just happens that way.
Yeah. Oh, did someone get a hit?
Did someone? I haven't.
Yeah.
I stopped looking for a sec. Dang.
Because Kike Hernandez couldn't make a play, I think. Or no, I think it was just.
Yeah,
I think it was.
they did get a hit.
It
I
wasn't
didn't
an
see the
error.
play, but they did get a
check it.
hit. I didn't see the play, but they got a hit. So
yeah, I don't
Brian
think it was
Bayo no hitter watch is officially over.
Well, good effort, good try, good dude.
Hey, he got through 7 innings, man. So
hey, man, that's my goat right there.
respect.
Please,
Respect
I hope the Red
Brian
Sox
Bayo.
don't extend him, man. Like I really hope they let
You
him
want him
go.
to be a Yankee.
I would do anything. I would do a lot of things. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of moving on a little bit here instead of me sitting here talking about Brian Bayo, which I would love to do, but this is a Yankee stream, so that's a little much. Josh Donaldson's stat pad versus Oakland ruining Keimer Candelar to New York. The narrative will never die. I don't care. In the offseason, I'll be pounding the table about this. However, it has to happen. Heimer Candelario will play for the New York Yankees at some point. That's a complete lie. I have no control over any of that. I'm just making shit up. But I think that would be like a good fit. So, I love what he does. I love his game.
We've discussed it before.
Great hooper.
We've said, we think it. Yeah, great hooper.
Yeah, phenomenal.
We've discussed
hooper.
We've discussed it before, and we've pretty much, put our stance pretty clear on it. We would definitely explore this option and definitely look into it a lot because I think he'd be a solid fit. So
yeah, he led Team DR in hits. He had an OPS north of 1,000. He loves his country. He represents them well. Those are qualities you want in a leader. Aaron Judge is the captain. I understand that, but captains need their co-captains, and you need some structure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And I think, end of the day, Heimer Candelario is an ethical hooper. So, I think he brings the style of game. Yeah, no, I mean, that's just how I feel about the matter. Maybe I'm I'm also clinically insane. So that's a little bit, that's not great.
This guy.
But with that being said, I have to emphasize that. Hold on. Osama bin Wade is terrible, period. But still, Osama, wow. Okay.
That's crazy.
Tyler Wade, I apologize. I don't really apologize, but like I don't, I'm not gonna comment on it. But that's funny. I love that. I don't know. I love that actually. You know what? For the record, my PR team, my lawyer says I don't have any emotions towards that. He also said, did you guys see Stephen Cohen's quotes yesterday? Oh man, it's okay when he says that, but people cry when Hal Steinbrenner says it. Yeah. If Hal Steinbrenner said that stuff, and I agreed with everything Steve Cohen said, you can't really fire people mid-season like that because of the optics of it. And like you want people when you're working a job and you find out your employer like fires everyone all the time, you don't really want to work there. Especially in a market like this where, it's super, like there are a lot of jobs to be had. If you're like David Stearns, like if you went to the Red Sox and said, hey, I'll be your GM, I'm pretty sure the Red Sox would be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Or like, I'm trying to think of like other teams. Like there are a lot of teams that probably would want David Stearns, who is like the guy that every Mets fan is like, yeah, we're going to get him. You have to have like an actual culture of we won't fire everyone. And I think as Knicks fans, we understand that too. Like there was a stigma around playing your coaching or being hired by the New York Knicks because they fired everyone so often because, well, they were one terrible, but it doesn't help. It doesn't look great. You know, even if it's justified, it never looks great. You know? So
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Nobody's gonna want to go to a place that they're just letting people go left and right.
right. So
You know,
I
because then
yeah,
they're worried that they're gonna be at risk for it, and they're gonna waste their time. So
I don't disagree.
you know what I mean. And to touch on the Steve Cohen comments and stuff, and just say, I mean, just be thankful we're not in that position to where we have to start questioning if we need to start selling at the deadline. Like Steve Cohen went out and basically alluded to the fact that if the team doesn't get better, they're gonna end up selling. So be happy we're not at that spot right now, and that we're not in that position where we're ready to sell off all of our guys and sell off Aaron Judge possibly and all this stuff. Like, thank God we're not at that spot, because Mets fans, man, ugh, I feel bad for y'all. Well, yeah, I feel bad for y'all. I feel bad.
Yeah, no, I feel bad, but like shit, man, I'm kind of glad that we're not in that spot. It's not great here. It's not perfect. It's not all
Oh yeah,
peaches
no,
and
it's not
cream,
perfect, but we're not
that
we're
bad.
not in sell mode. We're not in sell mode. Like the Mets are approaching that spot. Like I just said, their own really alluded to it. How it is possible that they might end up selling at the deadline and not buying. So, and you can't really get mad at it either. I mean, it's not like the team's been winning, So, as an owner, you have to make that kind of decision and decide, like, do I want to improve my roster that's not winning, or do I need to restart and hit the reset button?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a spot I envy. I do not envy being in that situation right now. And so end of the day, I imagine that if Hal said that it wouldn't go over too well, but it's the New York market, and that's just kind of how things are, unfortunately. But yeah, imagine if Austin Wells becomes a hitting coach instead of a Yankees player. I could see it. Austin Wells is a dude. He has a cool mustache. He's just a dude. He's a dude.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need a dude in there. No, but in all seriousness, I really do think he can really be a nice piece for this offense at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year. I think it should be next year at the very latest, but I really do think he can be a nice piece for this offense. I'm always going to feel this way because I'm stubborn. And I recognize that. I recognize how stubborn of an individual I am. But yeah, if you're wondering why I'm clicking a lot of stuff
in the catching department right now, so
yeah, if you're wondering why I'm clicking a lot right now, though, it's because unfortunately I have to X out of a million tabs because I don't know what the fuck my computer's doing, but yeah, we're chilling now. But I was like spam clicking, like, God, dude, this computer sometimes. Like I love my computer, but but yeah, I think the Yankees catching side of things, it's a little weak. Not a little. Most catching. I understand it's hard to find a catcher, but the Yankees don't have a great catching situation at the minor league level. They do have Augustin Ramirez, who I'm encouraged by. He's hit a ball like 130 miles before, and he's got good defense. And he's young, but he's in high A, or he just got promoted to high A. So it's one of those situations where it's like it's hard to project these guys, and you can't project a 20-year-old. Can't project a 20-year-old in high A. Like it's so hard to do that. So yeah,
you can't.
Yeah,
so.
But I think Wells will be that guy for us. Let's see. Blue just got voted in. USA clutched up. Let's go. I'm so okay. Vlad, I know is Dominican. I get it, but he didn't play for the WBC team, so he's on my shit list. He's on my list. He's on the shit list. I have a shit list. I have a very organized shit list. I keep it very disciplined. I don't expand it too much. I keep it very select. I'm a very organized guy. Like I keep it organized. I'm a very coordinated person. I'm clinically insane, but I'm coordinated. You know what I'm saying? I believe. I'm a big believer in kind of just doing it the right way, and I do it the right way. But I don't,
Hey man, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
I definitely get a little rattled when I see some Vlad Guerrero. That dude just pisses me off. I don't explain it. I know how to explain it. The dude owns the shit out of us at times and talks an unbelievable amount of smack, even though their team hasn't done anything. But I digress. It's not a Blue Jays podcast. Seems like Stanton did better hitting while playing the field today. How comfortable are you playing him out there injury-wise? I'm comfortable. If he's gonna get hurt, he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get hurt. He gets hurt when he DHs. He gets hurt when he's jogging. He gets hurt. It's just the body type he has. He can't control it. We can't control it. I can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. We can't do anything about it. Let him play the field. I think you can agree with me. If he's gonna be here, let him at least be really good.
Yeah, and I mean, if he seems to be more comfortable playing in the field, then you gotta take advantage of that and have him play the
Right.
field. Because he's even said it himself, he feels like he's more in tune with the game and more in sync when he's out there. So
And it matters to
if
me.
if that's the case, then put him out there.
Let's put the
Yes, I
ball.
don't think he's a great fielder, and I've always said, I've always said in the past, like, oh, I want him DHing because I'm here for his bat, not his glove, this that. I'm still kind of with that because obviously he's not a great fielder, and obviously there's the injury risk and all that stuff. But at the same time, if Stanton himself feels more in tune with the game while he's out in the field as well, then put him out in the field more often. Because honestly, if it means that his bat is going to come good with it, then keep him in the field. Because at the end of the
Honestly,
day, like I said, we want his bat, and if his bat is more productive when he's in the field, then so be it. Then put him in the field.
and I think
Maybe
that,
I guess I have a change of heart for that.
your point is only further evidenced by what you just said, because you're here for his bat. And if that means having him play the field, that's what it takes. Whatever it takes for Giancarlo Stanton to hit, I'm willing to do.
Right before he came back, I was saying, he should be DHing more because they don't want him to get hurt in the field and all this stuff. You want his bat in the lineup, you don't want him to get hurt in the field, all that. I thought at the time those were reasonable things to say, but looking back on it now, I see now that it clearly makes more sense to keep him in the field if it means he's more locked in with the game, because if he feels more comfortable being out in the field and feels like he can be more in tune up at bat, then you're getting his bat right there as well. Yes, you're risking a possible injury happening in the field, or you're risking your outfield defense because you're putting in a lackluster defender out there in the outfield. But at the end of the day, at least you're keeping him locked in the game and having his bat in the lineup, like a productive bat, because sometimes when he's DHing, it just doesn't look like he's got it all the way there. And maybe it's just a mental thing. Maybe it's a mental block when you feel like you're not really in the game that much. So,
Yeah, no, I hear you. And as someone who's very familiar with getting locked in, I'm always locked in. Always, always, never. I've never taken a play off. That's a lie. But no, in all seriousness, playing the field, if that makes him comfortable, that's what makes him comfortable, and I'm willing to accommodate. I need him to be Carl Stanton that we are paying him to be.
I'll take the risk of him possibly, God forbid, knock on wood, him getting hurt
he does
or
anyway.
anything. Then, because I mean, it's like you said, it's happened anyway. And two, I just want to see the guy produce at the plate. That's what I want to see more than anything else. And if it means you put him in the field to do it, then you put him in the field to do it.
Yeah,
and it's as simple as that. Because we all know at this stage, you put Stanton in the outfield, you're not getting a good glove out there. You're not.
No, I don't.
You're not getting you're getting a decent arm, but you're not getting a good glove. But if it means that his bat will work, will start to click because he's out there and actually involved every single inning, then so be it. Then keep doing it. I mean,
got to do whatever it takes.
Kind of where I'm at with it at this point, especially at this point with Aaron Judge being out. That's where I'm at with it, because we need him to really get going more than really anybody else. Because if he can get going, that changes the whole dynamic of this Yankees offense right now without Judge. So whatever it takes to get him going, if that means playing the field every single day or almost every single day, because I know they're not going to do it every single day. They're going to have him DH still quite often. But if it means playing him in the field more often, like I said, that's
whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That's the way I view it, and that's how I'm going to view it, and that's how I'm going to be consistently viewing it.
And they'll always make sure to put him in the field in spots where he doesn't have to cover too much ground, such as, for example, if they're at Fenway, they'll put him in left field because of the monster.
Yeah,
if they're at Yankee Stadium, he'll be in right field because of the short porch. They'll put him in spots where he doesn't have to cover too much ground. And so that's at least the good thing right there. They're not going to throw him in center field because, God, I don't know what I would be like, what I'd feel watching Giancarlo Stanton play center field.
He's not as fast as he used to be. He used to be pretty fast.
No,
not anymore.
Yeah, he used to be pretty athletic. But he's not. So, yeah. And I'd also rather not see him, make a catch in center field after covering a lot of ground and then grabbing his hamstring again. So
yeah, no, it's
like anytime Aaron Judge dives in right field, I cringe because I worry he's gonna get up and start wincing and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, he's a big body.
Don't be hurt.
Strong dude.
Even when he crashed into the fence at Dodger Stadium, I looked at him for a good minute and was like, all right, is he wincing? Is he wincing? Does he look all right? Looked all right? All right, he looks all right. And then boom, I was wrong. He wasn't all right. He ended up going on the IL. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like right now, you just need whatever's best for Stanton is what we want the Yankees to do. That's and I think that's what's best for Stanton right now. So, yeah. Domingo Germán for Juan Soto. Yeah, no, I think I think the Yankees would say no to that. I don't know. I don't think Juan Soto's ever thrown a perfect game. When he has, he can, be worth Domingo Germán. Padres, we're willing to lower our price tag and allow you to acquire Domingo Germán for Juan Soto, but you'll have to reach out first. So yeah.
The dream it would be to get Juan Soto here.
Yeah. Hey, look, they're bad. So I'll do it.
How about the Padres, man? What are they? 37-43 or something?
They're
like
bad.
That?
They lost another game today. So
37-44.
Correct. It is the opposite of bueno.
They threw in all that money for Fernando Tatis, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, and this is the product they're giving us, man. Ugh. They're disappointing. Them and the Mets obviously been the two most disappointing, but there's rationale to say the Padres have been arguably more disappointing, just given the amount of financial investment they gave into that lineup for a superstar type lineup. And on paper, it's one of the best lineups in baseball. And there's 7 games under 500 and like 8 or 9 games out of a wild card spot. That's bad. That's bad. I don't know if at that point, at that point, do you point it at the players underperforming or do you point it at the coaching staff? Because you can't have a team of Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., 4 all-star, superstar level players, really, and be that bad.
No, it can't. It can never get that bad.
And they have other decent players. I mean, Jake Cronenworth is a solid player. Gary Sanchez somewhat found it again. I know he's been struggling of late, but he's somewhat found it again. They have Nelson Cruz as well. I know he's like 42, but it's Nelson Cruz. He always finds a way to get some things going here and there. I know he's not having that good of a year though, but still, I think you get the point. They don't have like AAA guys out there. So,
no, they're mostly pretty healthy, so it's a little weird.
And they have solid pitchers too. I mean, Joe Musgrove. I know he hasn't been great this year, but Joe Musgrove's had a good, solid track record. Yu Darvish has been all right. Blake Snell's had a pretty good year for the Padres too this year. They have Josh Hader in the bullpen. I mean, I don't know what it is with them. I guess they just can't find a way. I guess whatever it is, they can't find a way. They're an interesting team.
No, definitely.
And there's someone I thought was going to be better than the Dodgers this year. I really did.
I thought they had a chance. The Dodgers have been great.
And I'm not going to sit here and say, I definitely thought that the San Diego Padres were going to be better than the Dodgers this year. No, I thought they had a good chance to do it, though. I definitely thought they had a chance to compete with that.
The Dodgers' record is what I thought it would be. I thought the Dodgers would be playing like this, and the Padres would be playing just a little bit better. And
I thought the Dodgers were going to be playing a little bit better than what they're doing right now. But can I say I'm completely surprised that they're at where they are right now? No, I'm not going to say I'm completely surprised. Looking at the lineup on paper, it's not the prettiest lineup I've ever seen. I've seen scarier Dodger lineups. I have.
Yeah, they're good. It's just they have a lot of injuries. I think have made them a little worse. But I anticipate the Padres to be fighting with. I thought the Padres would be in the mix.
I thought the Padres would be where San Francisco is.
Yeah, right, at least we're saying Arizona's been really good, and I think they're a fun young team, and I'm excited for them. But I thought the Giants spot would be the Padres spot right now, but that's not the case. And hey, hats off to the Giants and the Diamondbacks.
The Padres have lost 8 of their last 10 and 5 in a row too. My God.
Yeah, no. Hey, look, it's Juan Soto. There's some winning culture here. If you want to swing, if you want to, come by, please. I need this, man. I would do anything. I would literally anything. I mean that too. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to do some.
Would you cut off a toe for Juan Soto?
Would I cut off a toe? Come on, man. Come on. Are you serious? God, fuck yes. Come on. That's not even a question. He's Dominican. Yes, he'd be the single. He would immediately.
Hey, you heard it here first. You heard it here first, y'all. He said he cut off a toe for Juan Soto.
He'd immediately become
you better get the scissors ready,
dude. He'd immediately become the best Dominican-born player of the Yankees in my lifetime. Cano was really good, but Soto's a better talent. That's objectively true. So yeah, we missed out on Pedro Martinez when my dad was around. I say that he's dead. I mean, my dad was my age. Holy shit! I made it seem like my dad's alive and well. He's doing very well. I meant more so my dad was my age. We missed out on Pedro Martinez, so we have to right that wrong because that's a travesty. That was really a travesty. But with that being said, I just said it again. Moving on. Herman's curveball is amazing still. Think we need another starter, though. Blake Snell. Yeah, Blake Snell's interesting. He's a free agent. See, Juan Soto has an extra year of control. So there's a reasonable argument that you can make that they would keep Juan Soto and just run it back next year or make additions next year. Blake Snell might not come back next year. You have to re-sign him. And he's been pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't know
very
if
solid. Bit of a redemption year for him.
Right. I don't know if the Yankees are going to be trading for a starting pitcher, but if they were, probably the best option for them on the market. I mean, the market sucks. The market's really bad. You're going to have to get creative, and this would be a way to get creative. Or not really creative, but, take advantage of an unexpected potential seller. Now, will AJ Preller sell? That's a big question. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. If I did, I would tell you. But it's looking pretty dire. I imagine their owner isn't very happy about spending all that money and not getting results. I don't know if AJ Preller's job is safe. I don't know if he makes it through the season. I don't know if there's a lot of things that are uncertain there, but Blake Snell could definitely become an option for the Yankees. And if he were to become an option, he'd probably be the best starter available. Like, I think Lucas Giolito's good, but is he better than? He's not better than Blake Snell.
I don't think he's better than Blake Snell.
No, I don't think it's comparable. No disrespect. Eduardo Rodriguez is solid too, but he's not better than Blake Snell. Like, just objectively. No. But yeah, I mean, who knows? That's definitely something to monitor. Even if they don't trade Soto, I think Snell might, because he's a rental. He would be a rental. You'd want to get some value back for him.
If something happens with Soto, you can almost project that something's going to happen in the pitching front for them as well.
Right. The way I'd view is that I think they'd be more willing to sell on Snell before they'd be willing to sell Soto.
Well, yeah, of course. That's you have Juan Soto, a superstar talent. Blake Snell's not a superstar talent. So,
like, that's how I don't know if I think Snell's actually a realistic option. Like, I don't know why I haven't thought Snell prior to this. I think I thought he wasn't a free agent. I just kind of have an assumed group of people who are and are not free agents at the end of the year.
Pretty much.
Forgot his extension. It's over this year because the Rays extended him just to trade him, which is very Rays. But yeah, no, this is definitely going to shape up for an interesting deadline. So that'll be interesting to see. This is an interesting question from David Lawrence asking, would you trade one perfect game for 3 complete game shutout wins? No, I would. No, yes. For this team, because they're in the wild card race, yes. If it was last year's team, no, because last year's team won the division by more than 3 games. So it wouldn't have affected their division or their seeding in the postseason. So I wouldn't have cared. But this year, yes, you'd rather have 2 more wins than you'd rather have 3 wins than 2. That's 2 more wins. That's max.
I kept making a joke on Twitter throughout the game because you never talk about a perfect game while it's going on, right? So I kept saying like, oh, looks like he's 6 outs away from a complete game shutout. If anybody got it, then they got it. If they didn't, then oh well. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that with this this trade question. If you needed extra wins like you do now, then yeah, you're gonna take the 3 complete game shutout wins over a perfect game. At the end of the day, I'm taking more wins over 1 win, even if it's a perfect game. At the end of the day, I would want to do that always. But last year's team, like you said, I understand your point. Like they won, they pretty much like cruised into that division win. Well, not
really,
cruised,
August was a little bumpy.
They didn't I wouldn't say cruise because they kind of free fell in August a little bit, made it close. But 95% of that season, they were up at the top pretty comfortably. So, for the cool of it, you want that perfect game.
Yeah, I think that team, you're like, it's fine.
That team was more deserving of a perfect game than this one.
This team is so funny. This team is just not a real. Like, this team is not.
It cracks me up too. What made the perfect game even more funny was that the Yankees offense has been struggling as bad as it's been for this entire month, and they put up 11 runs and then top it off with a perfect game from Domingo Germán.
I don't know if you know this. They set the record for the largest margin of victory,
largest deficit in a perfect game.
This team somehow
the 2020, the June 2023 New York Yankees
without Aaron Judge is the biggest thing. It's incredible.
Yeah, just did the impossible.
They set an offensive record, a good offensive record, not a bad one, a good one.
They put up crooked numbers with this lineup that they've been throwing out that's been hitting 196 over the entire month. They scored 1 run the night before against this same Oakland A's team. They score 11 runs then there, and they had top it off, like I said, Domingo Germán out of all pitchers throws a perfect game under 100 pitches.
Yeah,
under 100
pitches. Perfect game Maddox.
Like what? Like that's got to be the craziest baseball story in a while. Not even just this year, in a while. Like That's like a what? He threw a perfect game? Not even like a Garrett Cole or a Luis Severino. No, Domingo Germán, the guy who was not supposed to be in the rotation at the start of the year when before the Montas injury and stuff. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Like, I'm still shell shocked about it. Like, it still doesn't feel real. Like, today was just another win for the Yankees. 10-4 victory against the bad Oakland A's team. You should beat the brakes off of them like that. And then, but the remnants of last night's perfect game still sitting in. You're kind of just like, wow, he really threw a perfect game. First, you turn on the game today, on the S Network or whatever, and you see before the game they're showing the highlights of Larson's perfect game, David Wells and then David Cohen's perfect game, and then they follow it with Domingo Germán. They're showing all the pictures and stuff like that with the dates and stuff, and you're kind of just like, wow, this actually happened.
Yeah,
This actually happened.
You're like,
actually did something that he actually did something that has only been done 3 other times in franchise history.
You're like joining the group of some of the most iconic Yankee moments ever is the 5th starter of a Yankee team who might not be the 5th starter in a month or so.
And it was caught by the backup catcher. Shout out
who now has a perfect game and a no-hitter.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Like, it's funny, they're showing all the, like I said, they're showing the pictures. You got Wells and Posada, Cohen and Girardi, and Larson and Larson and Berra
too, right?
And then I don't remember entirely, but my point is that they're showing the pictures: Larson and Berra, Wells and Posada, and Cohen and Girardi, and then Germán and Higgy. And I'm just like, wow, these 2 guys actually did something that has only been done 3 other times in the franchise. Like, that's insane.
It's incredible. Like, just from a historical standpoint, like, it's just mind-boggling. And I mean that like in the literal sense. Like, I know that because of comments I've made on social media that it's going to be taken a certain way, and I understand that. Not gonna sit here and make it seem like that's unreasonable, but I genuinely mean it in the unbelievable what the fuck. Like, I still really can't wrap my head around it because it's just we haven't seen one in over a decade. We hadn't even seen a no-hitter this year. Guys weren't getting no hit, and we just see a guy twirl a perfecto.
Like, that's insane. Like,
so
I had a feeling it was gonna happen too after that 8th inning. When he got to that 8th inning, I was like, oh my gosh, he's actually gonna do it. He's gonna find a way to do it. He's actually going to. He got that first guy out in the 9th, and then the second guy got out, and I was like, he's gonna do it. I literally was like, oh my god, he's actually gonna do it. Gonna do it.
Weirdly enough, just never processed. I was like, there's no way it's gonna happen, and it did. And it's like,
first 5 innings of it happening, I'm kind of just like, oh, he's 5 perfect innings.
Yeah, you're just thinking about who's going to kill it, who's going to kill the perfect game, who's going to kill it.
5 perfect innings. We've seen this happen many times with guys perfect through the first 5 or 6 innings, and then give it up late in the game. Happens all the time. No, he got to the 8th inning, got through the 8th inning. Once it hit to the 9th, and he still was perfect. I was like, oh my. I was like, hold up now. Yeah, this might be something serious. I was like, oh, all right. I was like, this might be something serious now. Like, that's like the point where it's like, if you're not watching the game, it's like you might want to turn on that game now. You might want to go see what's happening in Oakland.
It's like someone's cooking right now. Like, holy
first, like I said, first 7 days, you're just like, oh, something to monitor. Then it reaches the 9th inning. You're like, okay, I think you might want to go turn this game on now. Something might actually happen. Like, like, it's just crazy because then you see all the highlights on like MLB Network, ESPN, all this stuff. Showing Domingo Germán's perfect game over and over and over, and you're just like, man, he actually did it. Like, yeah, it'll even be weirder if the next start he gives up like 5 runs or something like that. In his
I don't. What is like the? Can you really place expectations on Domingo Germán to do anything?
At this point, no, because he just got shelled the previous start, and it came out and threw literally. You couldn't have had a better performance. Literally threw a perfect game.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it expect the unexpected.
You can't even set a bar for Germán anymore. You can't even, And it was funny because my brother wrote an article for EmpireSportsMedia.com for the Yankees side. He previewed the game yesterday and said, Germán needs to step up after giving up 10 earned runs or something like that in the previous start. Yeah, I think he stepped up all right. I think he
Yeah,
stepped up.
I think he stepped up. I'd say he stepped
I think
up.
he stepped up. I'd say he had. I'd say he turned in a pretty solid outing.
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay.
It was a pretty solid outing.
It's all right.
Just not 9 perfect innings, no big deal. Something that hasn't been done in 11 years, no big deal.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. But yeah, no. And kind of segueing here because I think this is a pretty interesting question here. Because it's not really. I mean, I don't know why I said it's a good segue because it has nothing to do with what we just talked about. I just brain farted there. My segue game needs to get a little stronger. But is Gleyber Torres ever going to be a perennial all-star? We think he can be, or is he going to be an above average or bad defender? I think it'll be the latter. I think he'll just always be a solid player. I don't think he'll be a consistent all-star.
I'm with you. I can't
Gleyber,
say I expect much more than what I get out of Gleyber right now. And if he comes back to becoming that 2019 version of himself, then fantastic. But I don't think we'll see that again. I think that's his peak.
He'll always just be a pretty good player with all-star potential. And that's really it.
Could always sneak in if the second base market is weak. I mean, he might even find a way to sneak in this year.
He's always a really good hitter, so that's always going to help him. You know?
It's just, I don't think he's a bad player. I think it's just I don't know how much better he's really going to get than what he is right now.
Right.
And it's not the end of the world because there aren't as many good second basemen out there. Marcus Semien is pretty much like the clear best second baseman right now. And normally it would be like a Jose Altuve or something like that, but he hasn't been healthy this year and he's also older. So, I think it's pretty clear
that
Semien's
Altuve's
on that
clearly
trajectory.
In a different class, but Semien's the best one. Semien's clearly the best.
Right now, Semien's clearly the best one. At least in the American League, if you want to say Luis Ariz is better, then I can.
In the National League, I think Semien's clearly better than Ariz. I know,
you know what he probably is. Speed. But if you want to have an argument for just
this year,
400, then yeah. So I'm saying if you want to have the argument for this year because he's hitting 400, then fine. I understand it. He's hitting 400. I can't argue with the guy hitting 400.
No, I mean it's unbelievable.
That's again just like how we were talking about the perfect game. Someone hitting 400 hasn't been seen in it's been a 70 while. Years. It's been since the Ted Williams times. I
think the last guy to do it was Ted Williams.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Tony Gwynn was probably the last closest because
I think Paul O'Neill had a shot too, and he lost.
I think Tony Gwynn was hitting 394 in a 94. I think it was the one that got affected with a lockout or a strike.
I think O'Neill,
and then I think he was hitting 394 at the time, and then the season got cut short, so he never got a chance to make the push.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, and like you said too, I think Paul O'Neill at once.
Yeah, I think he pushed for one because I remember my dad told me about that. He was like, "Yeah, he was pushing for a 400 to hit 400." I'm like, "Oh crap!" But then he slowed down and then 90.
Last time I think we saw someone come as close as we've been for a full season was probably Joe Mauer when he hit 365 in 2009. I think it was when he hit 370.
It's just that shifts have kind of made it really tough. I know the shift being banned.
Well, shifts and pitching has gotten better.
Yeah, pitching stuff is so much. Everyone's so much better.
Pitching's gotten so much better. Pitching's gotten so much better. I mean, look at nowadays. You could just throw anybody from that bullpen. They're pumping 100-mile-an-hour sinkers and beautiful sweepers.
Dude, Albert Abreu throws 98, and he's our back end reliever. It's crazy.
Yeah, back then, if you had a guy throwing 98, that's your setup guy, your closer. Now everyone in the pen is throwing that hard, and everyone's got nasty sinkers with this wicked movement. It's shocking that it's like that because now something you never see anymore. You never see knuckleballers anymore. I know we saw one the other day. We saw one for the first time in 2 years the other day with the Padres, I think it was. But you never see that anymore. You don't see any knuckleballs anymore. You just see wicked moving sinkers. Slashing cutters and wicked sliders and filthy splitters and changeups and stuff. Pitching's gotten so much better. Man. That's why I think so many of the hitting records that stand right now are gonna be so tough to break, just because of how good pitching is now. They're not just feeding you fastballs up there anymore. They're not feeding you 90, 92, 93. No, they're hitting you with 95, 96 consistently at least, and that's at the least. That's a bare minimum. Most starting pitchers are able to touch 97 on their fastball. So it's a different landscape. But sometimes we like pitching, man. We enjoy. I mean, we saw a pitcher throw a perfect game. So that should tell you right there the beauty of pitching. Pitching has gotten so much better that a guy like Domingo Germán could throw a perfect game.
Yeah, anything's possible. But I mean, this is, I think This entire series is just wrapped up by the Yankees hit. Domingo Germán threw a fucking perfect game, which was just fucking
Once that happened, you kind of just knew the series made no sense. They lost
yeah.
the game to
Once,
the A's. Domingo Germán throws a perfect game, and the Yankees scored 10 or more runs twice in the same
dude,
series. Like
I'm
what?
still like I'm never gonna. It's never gonna make sense. It's gonna take me like a couple of months for it to settle. Like he threw a fucking perfect game. He threw a perfect game. They didn't make an error.
Not just a
walk.
no hitter. Wasn't just a no hitter.
Yeah, no hitter.
Game.
You know, you can see how that happens. Some shitty pitchers have thrown some no hitters. You know, it's not. It's historical.
Usually it happens once a year too, where someone throws a no hitter. You know, it usually happens. No, it meant through a perfect game. Something that's only happened 23 other times and hasn't happened in 11 years since Felix Hernandez, who, like, I agree with what you said, would be a Hall of Famer if he wasn't always injured all the time. You know, and I love King Felix.
It's unbelievable.
Baseball is crazy, man. Baseball is weird. You know what? Not even just baseball. Sports in the year 2020-23 make 0 sense. They make no sense. Everything that wasn't supposed to happen happened this year in sports in 2023. That's kind of just been how it's been. So at this point, I guess we can expect an unexpected World Series champion like the Arizona Diamondbacks or something.
Yeah, just weird. I'm never gonna really understand what happened this weekend, but it's fine. You know, that's why we're here. It's a little, you know, fucking reset there. The Yankees team is in between not feeling the vibes of this team. I need to see the second half before I call them World Series contenders or postseason ready. I will say this. The Yankees have not great odds to win their World Series relative to other top teams. Like if you just go by playoff odds and all that shit. So just gonna go MLB rank. So the Yankees are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 7th in World Series odds. The teams that are ahead of them are the Braves, Rays, Dodgers, Rangers, Giants, Astros. The Braves have a 22.4% chance to win the World Series. They are so much better than everyone else. They are
I told you, man.
Look,
remember I said the last stream, I said I really like the Braves' chances this year. I really like what they got going on. And, you know, the data you just provided kind of proves that point. I mean, they clearly favor the Braves very heavily, and I think for good reason. I mean, that team is good, man. Team is loaded.
Do you know how crazy? Like, I want people to understand what 22.4% World Series odds looks like in June. That's unprecedented. That's fucking unbelievable. You have a 1 in 5 chance of winning the World Series, and you have not even made the postseason yet. Once they make the postseason, their odds are going to be like 30, 40 even percent. They may have 50%. They might be that much better than the field. They are that much better than everyone else. This is where I kind of agree with Aiden. If the Yankees and Braves played a World Series, the Braves would beat the shit out of the Yankees. The Braves would beat the Yankees into a fucking pulp. They would score 8 runs in the first 5 innings and blank the Yankees. The Braves would dog walk this team right now. Dog walk them.
Yeah.
I'm not excited to play them. We have to play. I'm not looking forward to that. Look, the Rays, I know the Rays. So, like, because I'm familiar with them, I know what I'm getting into. A lot of pitching, some wonky guys who can fucking hit. But the Yankees have played the Rays close all season. I think I could see a world where the Yankees beat the Rays in a best-of-5 series. The Astros are not very good this year. They're solid, but they're not like the Rays or the Braves this year. So, in my head, I view them as like equal to the Yankees in terms of how good they are. World Series odds reflect this. They have 5% odds to win the World Series. Yankees at 4.4%. Then you have the Rangers, who are like, I don't think they're as good as the Braves or the Rays, but I think they're pretty good. I view them as like they're the team that I'm like, I think we could beat them, but I wouldn't feel very good about that. The Rays, I don't feel good about beating. I don't think we could beat them, but you know, I think it's possible. But the Braves would beat the shit out of the Yankees. If everything went somewhat normal, I'm not even saying if the Yankees had the worst possible outcomes. If the Braves played to their back of the baseball cards and the Yankees played to the back of theirs, the Braves would beat the shit out of this team. Like, it would be ugly. The Yankees would be overwhelming underdogs. The same way last year, I think they were like historic underdogs against the Astros, which is crazy to think about. They would reset another record. This team needs to get better. or get healthier, this team is good. But the Atlanta Braves are a fucking unit. The Rays are also very much better than you. The Rays are, I think it's just crazy that they have nearly double the World Series odds as the Rays. That's not even say crazy, like that doesn't make sense. Like, holy, you know how good you have to be? Do you know how good you have?
You got to be really good. Have to be? You got to be really good.
They're unbelievable. And the whole team's fucking extended. Oh my God. The Yankees need, like, the Braves have built their team through extremely good drafting, playing their rookies. The Yankees don't do that. I'm stunned.
The Braves also have their main core tied up for quite a while,
right?
And on relatively team-friendly deals. You know, they're not selling out $400 million for Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna and guys like that. They have them on good team deals for the long term. Like, they're gonna have these guys around for at least another 7 years for the most part. Ozzy Albies as well. You know, I'm pretty sure they did the same for Matt Olson once they brought him in off the trade. You know, Sean Murphy probably too. I don't know if he is or not. I don't know exactly on Sean Murphy, but I can imagine he would be if he's not already tied up for a while for the Braves.
He is tied up. They extended him the second they signed him.
You're right. Okay, so that's another one. So you know, Murphy and Olsen, both former Oakland A's, as a matter of fact. The Braves took him and swooped him in, and now they're tied with the Braves for a long time, and they're gonna be good for a while. They can be good for a while. They got a good young pitching staff. Spencer Strider is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. You know, I mean, they got a good team, man. I can't hate. Each way in, each way out, their team is well balanced, well done. Reminds me a lot of the Denver Nuggets a little bit. It reminds me of the Denver
This team
Nuggets
reminds me of the late 90s Yankees. That's what this team reminds me of. This team reminds me of the late 90s Yankees.
Yeah, you know, I gave the basketball, I gave the NBA comparison, but you gave the perfect baseball comparison. You know,
they're unbelievable. They hit the ball a million miles an hour. They're unbelievable. They're fucking insane. I can't wrap my head around them. Like, I can't. I can't wrap my head around these guys. They're that good. They're just mind-boggling good, and we're just gonna have to live in that world. Now, do I think the Yankees? Now, playoffs are always subject to variance, so I'm a variance believer. I believe variance is a real thing. But if just the odds are insane. This isn't Golden State Warriors territory, because Golden State Warriors territory was insane. But this is
Golden State Warriors territory was like unbeatable.
This is like my Miami Heat territory. Of like, not even. Miami was pretty. They're going to win the East every single time. I don't think they're I think the Braves could lose in the NL. There's not really comparison in basketball, because basketball I think is a little less convoluted. I think baseball, the Braves last year got stomped by the Phillies. That shit happens in baseball. I know the Heat beat the Bucks, but that's because Giannis missed games. Like, that affected the series. If the equivalent of the Braves, and it would be like if the Nuggets got bounced by like the Lakers. If the Lakers beat the Nuggets, they were not going to beat the Nuggets. It's kind of one of those things. Like, honestly, the Phillies are not as good of a team as that Lakers team was relative to whatever that may be. But, you know, we're talking about hypotheticals here and like comparing sports, which is, I don't know how we got here. But with that being said, Dylan, I don't know if you have anything you want to add on, or
no, not really. Other than just, you know, watch out for the Braves. Simple as that. Watch out for the Braves.
And I guess more in general, like, is there anything else you think we need to talk about before we sign off?
You know, not much. I mean, we covered the series pretty well. You know, we got a good series against St. Louis coming up, but again, it has similar vibes to this Oakland series because the Cardinals are just not a good team. Now, I know the Cardinals are not nearly as bad as the Oakland A's are, but they're still pretty bad. So it's another series. You got to hope that the Yankees just come in, swoop in, win that series, do what they just did against Oakland, minus losing the first game of the series. I don't want them to lose at all. You know, if the Yankees can sweep the Cardinals and go 5-1 on this trip, that would be lovely. I would love that. But, you know, realistically, at this point, I might as well expect a 4-2 finish to this stretch, which I know we said would just be kind of not good. But, you know, like I said in the beginning of the stream, it's better than going like 3-3 or 2-4. So, you know, you just take it one step at a time. Maybe it's just going to be baby steps, not just you're going to get on the big winning streak and boom, your season's back on. You know what I mean? So bottom line, just, you know, come in, have a good series against Cardinals, keep the momentum going, and just stay afloat to the All-Star break. The All-Star break is right around the corner. Today's June 29th. The All-Star game is June 11th. So not June 11th, July 11th, excuse me. You know, so with that being said, there's less than 2 weeks left of the All-Star game, so stay afloat to then. I think they have the series against the Cardinals, and then I think what is it like they have like the Orioles.
Yeah,
and
I think they get the Orioles,
and then they close out with the Cubs.
Yeah,
or something like that. So a couple series against teams you can beat. The Orioles are good, don't get me wrong, but the Yankees have shown they can beat the Orioles.
take advantage.
Before. So take advantage of the easier schedule than you had last month, because May they had a very tough schedule. You have a relatively easier schedule right now. It's down this final home stretch until you head to the All-Star break. Take advantage of that. Do the offense that they did these last 2 games. I want to see that. I know they're not going to score 10 runs every single night, but I just want to see more than just 1 run every night. That's basically it. The pitching I can expect to do its thing. I just want to see the offense continue to do this and not level back off to where they were before this. So simple as that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, Yankees are now 10-4 rubber games, and the Marlins swept the Red Sox. So, hey, good. 2 good news right there. But with that being said, thank you guys so much.
Good baseball day for us.
Yeah, solid baseball day. Solid day. Good day in the lab. But yeah, no, if you guys want to check us out on our various social pages, there's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. You guys can check out our personal Twitter accounts. They're above our heads. And you guys can check out Empire Sports Media for all your New York sports content. We got plenty of articles coming out there as well. So again, thank you guys so much for sticking by, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast or live stream, however you guys choose to consume your content. So peace out, guys.